we slow it down a little bit, I don't feel like I can take a breath.
Remember, you gotta take your hat off.
Well, I will cross my hand. I don't do that anymore. You cross your hand over, cross your heart over.
Cross your fingers?
Yeah, I do that. They don't work.
For luck.
Please, God, help me.
Just glad I'm not in the military anymore. All the chaplains and all that under scrutiny, heaven forbid. It's horrible.
Chaplain is?
No, it's,
I guess I haven't, man, I've been in a hole.
yeah.
Some communities do it right after they close.
I just get set for a night. It's just,
How's Ted?
good.
Good.
People can swim with their dogs?
No, you're not supposed to get in with your dog. Or
Whatever
something.
you guys decide,
Whatever
I'm
you guys
in.
decide.
Well, no, if you don't have proper chlorine content, I don't think people
Well,
should
right, I
get
was
in.
gonna say, if you have proper
What,
chlorine. you
what
could-
Mason City
if
does?
you, but if you let the chlorine.
Altoona
go out-
lets you swim with your dog.
Really? I think mine.
Well, the chlorine will be fine anyway.
Mason City advises people not to, and then, but they always do, and then they don't necessarily do anything about
Because
it.
of the clawing, you know, if they get in
It's kinda like the DNR, they just
Yeah.
choose not, they choose not to enforce that rule.
I'll take Charlie Hampton. Charlie, your dog's
Vicious
strong.
dog paddle here.
There you go.
Charlie and Dayton can take
We
me.
have to certify dog lifeguards too.
We nominated you.
I'm not certified, I'm certified.
My
But
dog's
you're
an English
certified for
bulldog, he don't
dogs, we were
swim.
told. We checked
What's
it.
that?
My
Certified.
dog's an English
Certified,
bulldog, he
thank
don't
you.
swim, he swims like a
Yeah, I
rock.
never get the wording right.
His head's too fat.
Whose head's too fat?
My English bulldog, his head's as big and he just goes right, he won't, yeah, there's no swimming for him. Maybe wait a little bit, but he don't get a swim.
My puppy ate a baby pool today, half of it, yeah. So I guess he's gonna sweat outside now.
So, he's in trouble a little bit.
You'll break down and buy a new one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you
Won't
will.
be here either.
Oh, okay.
Should get them steel watering
Dick will not
tanks.
be present.
Am I gross?
Or give him a clawfoot tub on eBay and put it out there and let him jump in that.
I love him, not that.
They can't eat one of those.
He's going through a naughty stage, I don't like him. That's sort of,
Oh, false alarm.
Takes me a while to get off.
came off today.
Okay, 6 o'clock, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. We're at the pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is that all right, Brad?
That was great. I got all the words in there.
Councilman Davies was jumping ahead a little bit. Try to slow him down.
Keep things moving.
Any public comment? Ted?
Nope.
Okay. New business, discuss transferring title of GAR Memorial Hall to Franklin County. Rob?
Well, just wanted to bring this up for discussion. The property is officially owned by the city and the courthouse records, and the practice has been forever that the county maintains the property. Just wondering if, in the interest of clarifying things for future, that if we should maybe consider deeding the property over to the county and eliminate some confusion. It's up for discussion.
May I add? Well, this issue came up again when a grant was applied for the work that's being done there now by Renaissance Renovation. We received a grant. The grant's coming to the city, and so it's a matter of, well, who's gonna sign for the work done? The county signed for the work to be done on the building. And I think when I was talking to Michelle Giddings and Corey Everling, I think they even had mentioned possibility of deeding it over, because the issue was, well, who really owns the building? They maintain it, we own the land. Might be just cleaner to deed it, and they're willing, I think, to take it.
Sounds good, as long as they're willing to agree. They're serving as caretakers now.
I wanted to maybe get a consensus from the council. If you're interested in going that direction, then I could maybe approach the supervisors and gauge their interest. There's no sense in us doing that, going to trouble of approving it and having a deed if they don't want to accept it. So if that's the direction you want to go, I can maybe get on an agenda and have a discussion with them.
That's fine. I don't wanna have to negotiate with them for a year though.
Okay, I'll mention.
Well, it doesn't have anything to do with dispatching either, so we should be okay.
To be clear.
All right,
Getting
thank
close
you.
on this other thing, so. Discuss a property owner recognition for maintenance or improvement. Councilman Eckert brought this up at the last meeting, that's why it's on the agenda. Craig, you wanna?
Yeah, I didn't have anything to prepare or to present to the rest of the council members. I just wanted to to gauge interest, if there was any interest. I said, that, like I said at the last meeting, that maybe try a different line, you know, and positive reinforcement. And there are a lot of well-kept properties out there. I hate to see us just focus on the bad ones, but unfortunately, some of those good ones are in amongst the bad ones, and it's kind of nice to be recognized when people are doing a job and making an effort that you don't have to go up and beat on their doors to take care of their property or make things look nice. And the rest of us appreciate it. I just thought there might be a way that we could come up with something simple and recognize the citizens that are taking the effort to be good neighbors to all of us.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for suggestions or thoughts. I've never done anything like this, and I don't know where it's in place in other communities, if it is. I know at one time we used to have years ago in their best yard or something, or.
Yeah, I think about 25 years ago, Community Betterment Committee, like Best Kept Yard.
Mhm.
And I think I could probably dig through some files, because I never throw anything away at home, but there was, I think they like divided the city into quadrants, and then they would have like a nomination process, like you could nominate your neighbor.
Okay.
And I wanna say it was maybe on a monthly basis, and it might have been like during the summer, or you know, spring, summer more, when you could do yards. Winter, I think they didn't get into that. But then they had they had some kind of a award that they could put in the yard that said like Best Kept Yard, and it sort of was a traveling trophy. They had 4 of those, and then someone like made them.
Uh-huh.
And I think it went on, I don't know how many years it went on, and I think maybe after a while, you weren't really getting a lot of nominations, and so it sort of went the course of away, so. But I think it's a good idea. I think some positive reinforcement. We wouldn't necessarily have to do it, I don't think, like we're one winner, but you know, you could maybe give some kind of a recognition to anyone and everyone. I guess it just depends on, you know, if you want to have a little competition, or if you get nominated, you get recognized, type of thing too.
Along these same lines, I mean, I apologize for not bringing this. I did get an email recently about the condition of the city from a person who came back for a 30th class reunion, and born and raised in the Hampton area, and come back and notice the differences in the homes now as compared to then. And that's what kind of got me to thinking that, you know, we're so used to how things are around us that when you get a new set of eyes, so to speak, to come into the community, that's when you really start seeing things. And like I said, wanted to look at maybe in a positive aspect and think that it's like the good too. See what we can do. I think it'd be neat to have something to go around, at least recognize. Maybe it's a way to spread the incentive to get people to take care of their stuff.
I can see if there's anything any other cities have done to recognize them.
Somebody do Christmas time decorations here not too many years ago.
Judging?
Yeah, judging, did we not too long ago?
Chamber, I think, used to do, you know, judging like lights, you know, like
Christmas,
Christmas decorations. Other communities do, I think. Thornton does, Sheffield, perhaps.
Yeah. Check and see what other communities do.
You know, maybe at the end of the year, we could recognize them all. Ad in the paper, or at a meeting, or something, a mayor's proclamation, or anything that, it just spreads some goodwill.
Yeah. Well, you're exactly right, I mean, we hit the nuisance thing so hard, it'd be nice to flip that around. You know, as I was giving it some thought after you brought it up, you know, you could do maybe different neighborhoods, cause I know people talk about certain neighborhoods that are better or worse than others, there are, you could do maybe most improved, most consistent, whatever.
Sure.
Could be a whole bunch of different categories, be a nice opportunity, I think. See what other places do, so. Okay, unfinished business, Bradley, you're up, discussion of offering a dog swim day at the end of the aquatic center season.
I actually done all this, been
Doug's it?
done
Oh.
that little research.
Oh, Doug did, okay,
Sorry.
maybe we didn't even need to do
But I'm here.
that. Okay.
Basically, I put together a small packet before you, and some of the, information on that front page is what I'd be asking, from city council for direction on. For the most part, I think staff will kinda understand, you know, we're gonna turn off the recirculation system in the event we have this event. We'll lower the pool level a little bit, just from some of the information I've got from surrounding communities. And really, I don't see any problems, with how we're gonna operate things. But anyway, if you wanna take a look at the sheets behind that, you can kinda see what some other communities have done, some of the forms that they have available. And I guess if we do decide to do this, we're getting close to the end of the year. I think it'd be nice to maybe use some of the information that some of the other communities have put together already, just for the ease of, you know, not necessarily reinventing the wheel, so to speak. I think, it's been a tried and true practice in some other communities. We've had some discussions with them, they've given us a little bit of advice. True, Hampton's unique, I get that, every community is, but for the most part, when you're talking about, responsibility or liability and different things of that nature, looks like some other people have done some of the legwork for us. And if you agree with any of these forms, we can sure borrow some of the advice from those forms and make it our own as well for this year. We try it this year, and then we can always come back to the drawing board and make some changes that is unique to Hampton if we decide we need to. But that's entirely up to you. I'll do whatever you guys want. Anyway, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Bradley's here to answer some questions as well.
How much does it cost to license a dog, not for the swimming, but just a license in general?
Yeah, it's spayed or neutered.
It's more for,
Yeah,
5, is there none,
but
right?
we wouldn't allow any of that to go on. No, possible.
Allowing you what?
Well, you know, if they're spayed or neutered, any of that good stuff.
No, well, what I was thinking, if somebody came and they brought their dog and they didn't have a license yet, would you let them swim? But then but you have to show proof of vaccination when
Right.
you get the license. But maybe if they pay the $3 and they don't have a, well, I was just trying to think of some credit to where they would, yeah, you know, but they would get credit or, you know, do something to encourage people to license their dogs.
And I'm thinking maybe
You know,
you could,
And cats as far as that goes, but I
admission
don't
would
wanna
be,
swim.
you know, maybe your admission, if they do have a city tag, hey, their admission is a lower rate or free, whatever you decide. You know, it's something you could take care of there, but we are gonna want to see some proof of vaccination records. You know, in the city tag, they have to provide that proof when they get the city tag. So if they have a current city tag, we know their vaccinations are good. If they don't, we need to have some sort of verification for that.
Do you envision having the dog owners bring their vaccination proof with them?
I was just bringing like tags, my city tags on mine.
Okay, but let's say someone doesn't have their license, if they just bring a photocopy of their updated vaccination, would that be good enough, or?
I would think so, and I like the idea, I mean, I think if you know, if you wanna do that with your dog, go ahead and pay the $3 or $5, whatever it is. But I like the idea, if you don't have your dog registered with the city, bring proof of all the shots and stuff that they need, and, you know, heck, I volunteer to sit there and, you know, go ahead and get them registered. It'd be a nice way to get other people maybe to participate, and then that way, if they pay the $3 to get their dog registered,
Then they can
admission's
swim for
basically
free.
But we still get money, you know,
Sure.
I don't know, it's just, that's kind of a thought. Well, I like to see the pool make some money,
The
you know.
other thing is that registering them on the spot is, registering an animal takes a little bit longer than what you might think, just because our typical government, you know, it's just, it isn't gonna take like 2 minutes, and if you got a line of people, it could, I don't know that registering them at the aquatic center that night is gonna be something that we should do.
I wonder if you could, if you pre-register, they got a little pass. You know, if they came down here and they pre-registered, you know, got their dog registered.
Right. If they pre-register, they could just bring their tag.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the publicity of this, if we say the dog must be licensed through City Hall, have up-to-date license, well, then they have to get their vaccine.
When were we gonna try to have this?
That's another decision that I have left. open
Cause if
for
we had,
people
well, if we had
to-
enough time, I'm thinking, like I said, the week before, like I said, if you register your dog the week before, they can swim for free. If it's not already current license,
I-
then do it before, I mean, and then,
I think the
In
soonest
the-
you would have it, we close at 5 PM on the 2nd, which is Labor Day. You could have it as soon as that evening, or you could have it, but I would recommend no later than that Sunday, the following Sunday, because we will wanna, get it put away for the winter.
But if you do it later in the week, and we're not adding chemicals, then no humans should go in.
Right.
Brad, when do you wanna have it? When would be best for
prefer-
you and the staff?
Preferably, I'd like to have it on the 2nd, which is Labor Day. I think there'll be more people who would be willing to come out. Because as soon as we close down on the 2nd, I have a laundry list of things that I need to complete myself. And, over the course of a long summer, and I have newborn coming sometime here in the next, 7 weeks, could be tomorrow, it could be, 5 weeks from now. I wanna get all my stuff done as soon as possible, but if you guys choose a different date, I'll make it happen. But if I had a choice or a preference, I would say, Memorial Day, from like 5 to 6 or 5 to 7 or whatever, how long you guys think people will, show up for, but, I think we'd have
If
a
we
better
did it
turnout.
then, you could theoretically then say if you wanna license your dog before, then they can swim for free, cause it incentivizes people to license their dogs. If that would be much of an incentive, I don't know. Save $3.
Try, it never hurts to try.
And I think too, in talking to Doug too, I think some of the towns, they do a free will donation, versus having a paid admission to it. That's, I don't know how you wanna do it, paid adult admission, $3 to bring your dog, and everybody can come in or whatever. But if you just do a free will donation or whatever, I think, find something to put the money towards or whatever, whatever that may be, but.
Proceeds in Mason City are going to their new dog park. That's something they've done, and we haven't had that discussion for a while here again, but, not saying that's what you wanna do or need to do, but, something to maybe plan for in the future at some point. I know a lot of communities are going to that, but.
Did you have an idea from these places, like how many dogs that they actually had show up the past years? I mean, were there thousands, or were there like 10, or?
No one gave any indication to me
Okay,
of the
no,
numbers.
it's no big deal, I was just curious.
I didn't have that, the only comment that I received was up in Mason when they said it increased in popularity, as they had it, from when they had it the first time, it just continued to grow.
I think I either saw a video online or something on the news up in Mesa last year, and they had quite a few, dogs in the pool.
Did any of them indicate any problems they've had? Or anything they would do differently?
No, the big one was, shut the recirculation off, just because you don't want the dog hair getting into the recirculation off. Some of the older communities don't have we have pretty much a nice, not saying other people's facilities aren't nice, but ours is new enough to where we have good strainer baskets and things to collect anything like dog hair, what have you. Nonetheless, it can make it hard if it does get through some of that on pumps and different things. So that was the biggie, was just to make sure that you turn the recirculation off, make sure you're not running any dog hair through there. But if you actually seen one of those filters on a daily use anyway during the summertime, no offense, but there's a lot of hair anyway in there.
It's a lot of stuff, yeah.
Did they say there was any problems with the dogs biting?
Well, they have,
Or is
most
it
of them
pretty
have
well
a,
handled, or?
have a situation or a rule that a dog will get one warning if they're showing, you know, if they're showing aggression or being unruly, they'll warn the owner once, and then if there's something happens, then they'll kick them out the second time.
And you can decide to leash on the deck or
Yeah.
unleash, you know, or give that discretion to staff. You know, people can control their dog verbally.
Yeah, should they be leashed
Right.
when they're in the facility,
Right.
or let them take the leash off when they're in the water, but then leash them when they come out of the water? As opposed to having them run around and,
But
I
as
think
far
they should
as-
be
yeah.
leashed.
I think they
myself.
should be leashed. I'd hate to see like somebody running after their dog too and slip and fall and, I mean, I don't like to think the worst, but stuff happens.
Nobody gave me any indication that there was any biting, so to speak, or anything of that nature. Sounds like most of the people that attend these things are pretty good dog owners for the most part.
You won't drink the water, I mean, would they get sick, dogs get sick drinking? if they're sharp?
Chlorinated water?
Yeah,
They lick their own butt, so.
but that's not chlorine.
I'm just saying.
That's what Bradley has come to
Hey.
offer.
Hey, you know.
At the
Hey, you
Thank
know.
you for sharing
Quote
that.
I'm just saying, yeah, cool.
I-
Did you get that, Jeff?
Camera did.
I think that we don't, actually at the amounts of chlorine that are in there, Jim, you know, children are drinking it once in a while. You know,
I drank it
it's-
just
it's-
Saturday.
It happens, so I don't think at the levels you're gonna see anything major. Matter of fact, it could come in handy for maybe some dogs, you never know.
Yeah, I know. No, I think it's a good idea, maybe do it Labor Day.
Just a few other concerns that I have that we put in these stipulations is that they clean up after their
Yes.
dog. I know that it's
But
probably
you may
already
wanna
written in there.
have some
That's-
baggies
bad,
there or
yeah.
something.
We can do that.
Why
and
would
then-
we furnish anything?
Well,
They're supposed to clean up after themselves in the street. I see you carrying stuff.
I carry them.
No offense, Jim, but I mean, these guys are supposed to be
Oh,
responsible.
well,
for
I
it.
always
think
prepare for
responsible
the
people
worst,
will
hope
have
for the
them.
best. I know, my
That's
neighbor's
true.
dog, I have one neighbor that cleans up his dogs that visits my place and another one doesn't, so.
bad part is the stuff I want them to leave for fertilizers, the bad stuff, and the stuff I don't want them leaving is the liquid stuff, and that's
Brad, you're gonna close at 5?
Yeah,
Second.
right, yep.
How long is long enough? A couple hours? So
That's probably plenty.
5 to
I would
7
recommend,
maybe.
I would recommend 6 to 8, just to give staff enough time to shut down the recirculation and then, drop the level maybe a little bit so things aren't going over the weir, so.
I like the leash when they're on deck, I think that's important.
Yeah, and we'll have a release liability form for them to sign.
And I know like Mason City, stuff that I've seen or in emails and stuff, they've talked about opening up the slides and things of that nature. I would recommend that we don't do that, this first year, because our warranties are up. With dog claws and stuff, we don't allow studded,
Yeah.
swimwear to go down it. We've already gotta replace some of the caulking and stuff that's missing, so, you know, just, you know, whatever, I haven't seen the packet that you have in front of you, but, I know that in conversation with Doug and stuff, that was brought up that they do have that stuff. I don't care about the diving boards, they can jump off all they want, but as far as the slides go, I don't wanna see us ruining those at this point in time.
we still have floatables.
We do have one,
And lobster.
yep, I would probably pull it out,
Yeah.
and from that 5 to 6 hours. It's that floatable, I don't know if you've been up there recently or,
Yeah, for a while.
it's pretty beat up. There's some open spots where, it's cracked and since ripped and stuff of that nature, so,
It's been bitten before.
yeah. It's one of those things that gets used and abused, but, I don't want, you know, just trying to get up on it or anything like that, so we'll have that out, if we have an hour, it won't take more than 5 minutes and a couple strong minutes, so.
So what do you wanna have, a free will donation or what, or a gate fee?
Well, would it be too much of a hassle to try to do something prior for licensing? I mean,
Well,
if it is, cause I thought if you're gonna do that, then the freebie, then I would charge admission, but then offer if they license your dog.
we could just set a fee of, what, a couple dollars?
Mhm.
But if you license your dog between such and such a date when we start publicity, then, and the event, then they could get it free.
You basically, then if I understand you, if you're coming with a dog tag, you're in for free.
Well, it'd be
No.
better, but if you're I was thinking if you sign up, and that is a
Or-
question, if you're already licensed, is it free? Regardless of whether you do it like the week before.
No, no, but if you do it like the
Right,
week
right.
before,
Yeah.
doesn't she give us, she gives us a receipt when she does that? And then just bring your receipt. And it
Show your
shows that
receipt,
you
get it
just-
free.
Date, yeah.
Yeah. The proceeds, you know, I like the idea of maybe someday thinking about a dog park, that would be great, but unless there's something the pool needs too, I wonder if we could, I mean, I'm just trying to. could we-
Another floatable would be.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Do you want another floatable?
Sure. No, it's, I mean, it's a good idea, but it's gonna take a long road to
Actually, a
get.
different floatable, it'd replace
Right,
the.
we'd probably
right?
replace it, or, you know, I don't know what it looked like to get it reskinned. You know, it's pricey either way we look at it, you know,
'Cause how
to
much
have
was
one.
that anyway, wasn't that?
It's like 5 or 6,000,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
And they have some
So-
smaller ones and bigger ones.
Rather than last a little longer.
But if you have a goal maybe for something for the pool,
Right.
it might, you know,
Right.
especially if, you know, people might, instead of the $2, might throw in a 5 or a 10, you know, you would hope, so,
There's those cameras that we're asking for.
yeah, or whatever.
But I guess my thoughts, I mean, for what it's worth, as far as paying and not paying, I would like to see it if, you know, it goes back to the concept, if we have a 2-year-old child and a dad or a mom that wants to bring them, you're gonna have more people willing to come in and throw in a buck or two, and I think we'll make more than people saying, well, it's not worth $2 to go to the pool and try this one time. You know, if we see that it's not worth it after the first year or the second year, then you could probably put a cost on it or whatever. Or, you know, I wanna see this being successful, this first year. If we're gonna put in 2 hours of time and, you know, to go forward with it, you know, I wanna see as many people bring or be a part of it as possible. So I would suggest that, you know, we go with the free will, and if it doesn't work this time, then we can put that free if you bring it in. And I don't think it's fair for the people who already have been responsible and registered their dogs not to get in for free, and then the person who does it the week before gets that discount. Because you've all paid the same dollars, and now you're punishing the people who should be bringing
Life
it in.
isn't
because it's-
fair.
Well, tell me about it, man. I know, you're preaching to the choir when you say that, but what I'm saying is that your dog is supposed to be registered anyway.
Well, if
City
someone wants
ordinance
to,
and all that other stuff.
you're supposed to register your dog, what, one time or once a year, or how's that work?
Yes,
Well,
every
if
year.
you wanna annually register your dog early, really doesn't matter.
Okay, no, if you, I
Right,
value
so-
your opinion there, and
so-
I think that, you know, that works, and we could still get it out there, make sure you get your dog registered, you know.
So we're only gonna allow registered dogs to participate. Okay,
Mhm.
all right.
Yeah.
And just do a free will donation, there's no cost, but if they wanna get to
Yep.
I'd
free will.
encourage
Yeah,
people, if they
exactly.
want their dog to swim, they better get to City Hall before and
Yep.
register their
Yeah.
dog.
And how do
Make
you
sure
wanna
you-
or how do you wanna get the word out? Do we want to pay to have advertising, or we just,
Press release.
a press release, okay? All right.
Make a poster, put it in
Dog.
I'll put little side things on mine now.
the. Yeah, what's your
Just
dog?
let me know all the details, I'll just, they'll be blocking billboards for you. Might as well, I'm out there.
I think we got what we need.
Yeah, so, one more question, if someone from Hampton County wants to bring theirs in, they just have to register, so, and when they register, they show proof, but that isn't necessarily registering for a city dog tag, that's just registering to go to this event. Hate to throw a monkey wrench into things, but I mean, just in case someone out in the county.
And they
wants
probably
to-
will, you'll get people from outside.
As long as they bring verification of their
Vaccination.
vaccinations, we'll have somebody who vows that she's willing to,
Good.
I'm not putting you on the spot,
No,
she
I
just
would be.
threw her name out there, as somebody that's willing to check those and make sure everything's
Yeah, so if
legit
they-
and stuff, and
So if they're
why
not, the don't live inside city limits, they just have to provide proof of vaccination. Okay.
And if there's anything else I can do, just let me know.
And would you guys be agreeable then to the, basically the registration form? It looks like a couple of different registration forms here, one from North Liberty. The other one would be the second page. And then there's a release of liability. Would you like to put that all into one
I
document?
like the North Liberty one, it's simple and it
Yeah.
takes care of
Okay.
everything you're looking for.
They don't have to use a lot.
Okay,
I'm just in favor of whatever you guys think is best. I mean, you guys are the ones that's gonna make it work. Simple is better.
I can donate a picture if you need.
Robbie is, he's email it and I'll make sure it gets in writing.
All right.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Couple minutes to spare.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And then, we also have a discussion of selling 1967 Plymouth Fury station wagon via internet auction for the fire department.
In order for a city to dispose of a vehicle, we have quite a bit of leeway in how to do it. The firemen have indicated that we don't have to have a public hearing. That's with regard to disposing of real estate. Personal property like vehicles such as this, a resolution will suffice, and so I've got this draft for you to consider of a resolution. But the firemen have indicated they want to sell it on the internet via eBay, and you know, once it sells, or once you get the high bidder, you know, then we come back to the council for approval, and for some reason they don't approve it. Now we get into a situation where a guy from Pennsylvania bought this car, and now we can't get it to him. So to avoid that, we've got the council making some decisions on the front end. So basically spelling out as a resolution authorizing the city of Hampton to dispose of the police vehicle via the internet auction, and authorize city manager to convey title. Hampton Fire Department requests to be sold on the internet. City of Hampton determined it's fair and reasonable process for disposal. Hampton Fire Department has requested to have the Hampton City Council transfer the proceeds of the vehicle sale to the fire department, and the council has agreed to do so. So that's decisions made up front. Now therefore be it resolved, the Council of Hampton, Iowa, that the firemen hereby authorized to list said vehicle on eBay for sale with a reserve bid of, and we need to set that now so we're all in agreement going into it, what the minimum is. And upon the completion of the bidding and receipt of a valid bid at or above the reserve level, authorize city manager to execute any and all documents necessary for the sale of said vehicle, and transfer the title and transfer the funds to the Hampton Fire Department upon receipt. This resolution basically does everything. If it's passed, you've given the firemen the amount that you want set as the reserve, and then if the reserve is met, it's a done deal.
I would say, just my opinion, the reserve be what the one gentleman had offered, and then that way, if he's the only one that wants it, he's already offered, what was it, $5 or whatever, and that would just be my suggestion.
I quite honestly would like to see a little higher.
What's it worth?
That car is worth more than that, and it has low miles. I think you can easily get a little bit more than that.
Didn't Ken indicate he thought it had 25,000?
27 done.
But I don't know if the motor's been replaced or what, but the title, we dug out the title and it said 125,000 miles. So I need to get that clarified with Ken, so
Maybe it's got a new motor.
it might have. But we need
Or it's
to,
just flipped over.
Well, you know,
Well, as I
could
said,
be
with
a
the new
$10
motor though,
flip.
What?
you still, I don't know,
Do they
with an
reset?
odometer,
Do they
even if
reset?
you put a new motor in it.
the
still-
odometer
Number
doesn't
stays
change.
the same.
Yeah, so,
So we'll have to find out.
yeah.
It's still a chassis and everything else,
Right.
it's like those many miles.
So what is like, is there a blue book on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is that?
It was up, I
Well,
didn't
yeah,
give it a sheet.
Craigslist, I don't have it with me, but it's in my office.
I think the high was up, if it was in mint condition, like $4,500.
Yeah, 2,500 to 4,500.
Substantial amount. Now on eBay, too, you know, they're gonna probably charge you like $40 to list it for a vehicle. And then there'll be a final value fee. And then there'll be a listing fee and everything else associated too. So the proceeds would be after the fees are
That's right.
deducted. And we don't have to get the vehicle to anybody. That should be on, they have to come and get it. A lot of people, when I see them selling on a vehicle, some people deal only in PayPal. That's what my business does. But there's a fee both ends. Fee for listing and a fee for final value, like you said. But a lot of people on vehicles, when they take certified cashier's checks, because then they can have a deposit in PayPal or however you want to do it. Then they can have, when they come to pick up the vehicle, it's cash in hand or a check like that. But there's a whole process that'll walk you right through that, how to sell a vehicle. It's pretty straightforward on there. But you could put a reserve on there, but I think that there's a little extra. I've never sold a vehicle, but it may cost you a couple extra bucks. Say if you just, for example, if you wanted to put a $2,000 minimum on it, start to find the bidding out at $1, and then it goes up from there, and then whoever gets over that threshold, it will just show on the screen that the reserve has been met. You wouldn't necessarily know what it was, but you would assume that you would think, well, it was over $2,000 if you got it at 205. But I just think there's an easy, slick way to do this, and this is probably a good way to get a lot of interest. Certainly couldn't advertise it in the wine register for the same place, the amount of money that you could reach millions of people with this.
So the reserve amount, any direction, or you don't have to decide tonight this, because, but when you approve the resolution, you're gonna have to determine, you're gonna have to agree upon a reserve amount, so you'd be thinking about that. Unless you wanna come to some consensus tonight, maybe get it typed in there.
Yeah, well, why don't you guys just think about it, and we can put it in there. Every day,
Yeah.
because,
Be a good time to do some research too, and
Right.
see what the average goes for.
right, because I hear what Diane's saying, and Val's point makes a lot of sense. I think because of what Craig's talking about with fees and stuff, you wanna make sure that reserve is met. So I don't think you necessarily wanna shoot for book value, but. And then, you know, the thing is too, you know, the fire department would like to do this to get a little cash in their kitty or whatever, and, you know, they were okay with 500, I mean,
That's nothing but benefit them.
yeah,
So
absolutely, so.
I would just encourage the people to get on eBay. You can look it up. You don't even have to be a member. You can sign on as a
Yep.
guest.
Yep.
And just go to eBay Auto.
Yep. So.
Is there like a time limit usually you put on that too, or?
Most of the time a week, I've sold thousands of things, well not thousands, hundreds of things on there, 3, 4, and 5 days, whatever, and a week is the best, usually it seems like. You can put it on there longer. If you really wanted to get gutsy, you could say, put it on there just for a joke. $5,000 is a buy it now. You may have somebody buy it tomorrow, you don't know, but the auction part happens to be the best, I think. Because everybody can bid within their own means.
Okay, so everybody will do research on that. We'll have the resolution for approval or for consideration on Thursday.
That's correct.
Okay. Anything else for you to the comments? Yeah, Doug.
Just quick, I'll make it quick. I also provided you another handout, kind of looks like this with a graph on the front. Just want to let you know, last week we did our annual leak detection survey with Western Leak Detection Incorporated. We found 2 leaks. One is a hydrant leak, and that is located at 9th Place Northwest and First Street Northwest, and then we have a main break, a leak that was indicated near the 400 block of 12th Avenue Northeast, and staff will be making arrangements to get those repaired, but that's pretty good. That's a good indication of a tight system. That doesn't mean that there may not be some smaller leaks that just go undetectable by his equipment, but for the most part, that graph just kind of gives you an indication of what the potential water loss is, and the potential savings, the potential payback for their fee that's associated with doing this. But I think it's a good service, and it's a good way for us to keep our eyes on things and to kind of see where our water loss is and different things. So I think we're doing a good job with that, and would like to continue to do that. That's budgeted, and anyway, that's the annual thing that we do. It's kind of like maintenance. So just want to pass along.
Is
this
it
year's
normally done in
results.
August?
We've done it at different times of year, Jim.
Is it better to
honestly.
do it closer to what, spring, you know, in spring and winter? Cause when do breaks occur? Is there any rule of thumb, or, you know, like past breaks, if something happens, it's like in the winter, you know, with the
Freeze thaw.
freezing, yeah.
Freeze thaw is basically spring sometimes, but getting this gentleman to come in at
Right,
those
that's what
times
I
is the
figured.
hard part. But nonetheless, we have the majority of our breaks is in the winter and spring, and like you said, with the freeze thaw and.
Plus, yeah,
And you
probably
know it.
easier for him to work in the summer than digging through snowbanks.
It is, they have to chisel through frost and stuff if they were doing it in the winter time or early spring, just to get their listening devices on the valves and different things.
Which might add to the cost.
Right,
also,
could.
of the service.
I'm glad you brought this to our attention. This is a good
Yeah,
program
no,
when you
I
first
think
brought it
it's
up.
good preventative.
Glad you did your homework. This pays off.
Yep.
Cause if you hadn't done it, when would you have found that out?
Not till it
After a
surfaces,
sinkhole or something,
Sure.
or, you know?
That's
potentially.
possible.
If it gets way into a storm sewer, it could go a long time. Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Good
Doug.
job, Doug.
Okay, there's nothing else, we do, I think, need to go into closed session. Talk about, this collective bargaining business, but, we'll go ahead and adjourn the public part of the meeting. 6:42.
Yeah.